Hello and welcome. Tonight, well, I'm saying tonight because it's night at this moment in London. I'd like to invite you to download my latest ebook, The Ultimate Quest. Now, it's a free ebook and you can also distribute it freely on your website. What is this ebook? You see, I've now turned, or I'm turning 70 soon, and I was initiated into meditation and the spiritual life when I was 18 in Bodh Gaya, the place where the Buddha obtained his enlightenment in India. Now, I don't know, 52 years, something like that have passed, and I've been constantly on the path with various turns and ups and downs, but I've always been on the path, trying as well all kind of different techniques and exploring and studying different schools and so forth. Starting with Buddhism, but I went to Hinduism and Sufism, mystical Christianity, psychoanalysis, and ultimately cosmology, quantum cosmology, and of course as well I had a medical profession. Now, as the days are passing by, it just came to me, as I'm approaching more and more the time to depart to other, frontiers and places, I would like to leave something behind. I would like to leave this experience of 50 years and these realizations not as something to convince people of, or like a new path or some kind of new messiah, far from it. But what I like is to share what I've realized, what I've seen, what I have achieved, what I've been able to let go of, in the hope that there are people who are also on this quest, on this path, to find their true self, to understand the deeper meaning of life, that those people might find something useful. There might be part in the ebook in which they go, oh, this I don't like very much. No problem, leave it. But you might find other places in the ebook that you might go, wow, I'm glad someone told me this. So you got the link where to go and download it. It is here at the bottom of the video and as well in the description. So, you're welcome to go there. Now, let me tell you just a few minutes about the ebook so that you know what you might be going for. Now, the ebook is a lot about, first of all, universal oneness and as well spiritual humanism. What do I mean by that? Many people these days are on a quest to find our connection to the whole of life in its different levels and dimensions, but are not very keen on the idea of a being with a personality out of this universe that somehow creates it in order to be obeyed. And if he doesn't, and if he's not being obeyed, then he tortures you for eternity. And that lack of obedience might even mean not believing in him, although you are a very good person. But the fact that you don't believe in him, you go to hell forever. It's like you take your child, and because they don't believe that you are Father Christmas or something, you tie them up, and you do the most horrible things to them. So many people have moved out of this view of life and of the world. Many are purely atheists, which is fine, but many as well are saying, okay, I have to move out of the strict corralling of ancient religions, but yet I feel that there is a connection between me, the limited individual, and a deeper aspect of life. Like if I'm part of an energy, which is universal. And discovering this connection can free me from a lot of hang-ups, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, you know, the constricted ego, the anger, the either wanting or hating when not getting it, the resentments, I'm superior, I'm lower. And so they're looking for a path to be able to let go of this and a little bit discover that we are a drop in an ocean. We can be a drop, but we can also be the ocean. And ultimately, the ocean is our essence, who we are. It's a bit of an awakening. So at first, the ebook explained the aim of the book. This sense of spiritual, let's say, universal oneness, for a lack of a better word. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of other words you can say, Mother Nature, and so forth. But as well, it talks of something which is spiritual humanism, and which is how to apply that oneness into our lives. So it means we go away from what I call the tyrant, someone that says, this is how it should be, this I have spoken it to somebody and they have told you all you have to know and it can never be changed. From this oneness, we move more into a society and into a moral system based on this sense of oneness. So, which is respect, which is love, which is caring for one another, but at the same time has the possibility of moving on, of growing, of more understanding, better understanding. For example, till a few hundred years ago, we thought animals, they are just there to be killed and used by us. Now we have grown, I mean, many of us have grown into understanding that they have feelings just like us, and if we have respect in our hearts, if we have a bit of love in our hearts, we will respect the right to be and also be sensitive about their suffering. So the morality that comes from this universal oneness is growing, it is improving, is evolving. Okay, so these are the two main aspects. Now, the first part of the book is got what I think it's a very beautiful story of an Indian sage called Kaju, who was quite a poor man living with his lovely wife and two kids, but he was a very resented, very angry man. He had a lovely family, but he felt that society had hardly done him by, and he was blaming his family. So he was always living in rage and hatred, like so many of us, yeah? We are resented and we blame everything and everybody. So that's how we feel. We live a very constricted and painful life. And how somehow he came to the realization, his journey, he came to the realization that he is not this rage, he is not this anger. This was what his constrictive way of thinking, his constrictive ego was creating as a vision of the world, but that's not what it was. And then there was a sudden, very, very transformative opening of the heart, and he discovered the peace and love and serenity which really abided in him, and which was his true nature, and how his life changed as a consequence of it. So it's very much what could be the journey of all of us in understanding how we tighten ourselves, how we create constrictures, and how we think that this is who we are and this is what life is. And this book offers you a possibility, a vision that that's just a wave in the lake, that's just a constriction, but although it is within you, but it is not who you truly are. And how to release that and how to suddenly awaken into your true nature. Very nice, isn't it? Okay, then I go through different other chapters. For example, I say, I don't believe spiritually that definitely there is life after death, and we all have to believe that, because to me, into this oneness, belief is not very important. Matter of fact, it's not important at all. What really matters is what you have in your heart, how you live your life, how you treat yourself, and how you treat others. So it's your openness that is very important. However, I go into the medical studies of near-death experiences, because those are very, very interesting. I've looked a lot into them, and it really, there could be a possibility that some kind of quantum fluctuations, let's say, remain after the dissolution of the body, and a new journey starts. So we look at the evidence, we look at what those people who have experienced it, we look into strict standards, medical standards, whether those people were really dead, whether it was just some kind of hallucination, and so forth. Then we go a little bit into the studies I did in these later years about quantum cosmology, and just how it a little bit reflects this vision of unity of life without becoming too mystical or projecting too many psychic bubble ideas, but really to talk that at the end we are all made of the same particles, and the smallest one came from the moment of the Big Bang, and we are all united by that, and those particles actually are just vibrations of energy. So is there a possibility that we can touch that reality? So we look into that. And then, I've written a little bit about the essence of some of the religions, which again bring us to this oneness and the path to this oneness. Because I don't think, it is something one day without having done nothing, you just wake up and you're enlightened. Might happen to some people, but otherwise it's a preparation, it's becoming ready for it, kind of thing. And so we look, for example, to Buddhism, and particularly how mindfulness and insight, meditations in Buddhism, can help us to know ourselves. Not ourselves here in the higher sense of the pure self, the Brahman, the absolute, but just to know and understand the tension we carry in our bodies and the patterns of hatred and enmity which are within us. And it is a very beautiful method. If you go to the core of Buddhism, understanding the mind patterns, it's a very, very important step forward, because you can really improve your life with it. How am I coloring the experience of my life? And sometimes I think it's life being really nasty to me, but actually it's me being nasty to life. And that is a great realization. It's not a sense of guilt or thinking, oh, I'm horrible, but it's just, oh, I'm going to gradually let go of this, okay? So you have new energy, you have got a new vision, you've got new relationships, and so forth. So we go through, for example, Buddhism, and also there is a very, very interesting section on very early Christianity, according to all the different manuscripts which have been found since the end of the Second World War, the Gnostic Gospels, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and which in a way depict quite a different vision of what we have, of the Christianity we have that was founded by the Catholic Church 5-6 centuries after the death of Jesus. So it's going a little bit back to that kind of Nazarene way of life, following the commandments, which was not a commandment of fear, like in the Old Testament, but was a new way of being, the Sermon of the Mount. And now we can live that kind of life. So we have that as well, and a lot more. A lot more. We go into different parts of meditation. We also go into Hindu Vedanta. We also have a look into psychoanalysis. Can it help? Can it not help? When does it help? When does it hinder? And how you can integrate it into your life. How it can help you sometimes to understand yourself, being careful not to get caught up in thought and projection. So I've given you just a very quick insight. It's about 130 pages, and I'm sure that you will find some inspiration. And I don't want disciples. I'm not making any money from that book, but it will make me happy to know that some people perhaps have improved a bit of their life with it, and they're glad to have received it, and that maybe are distributing it to their friends. Thanks for hearing, and if you download it, happy reading.